all the elected representatives here today, distinguished keynote speaker, Mr. Kant, members of the diplomatic, business, community, FNCCI, CNI, NCC, distinguished guests, colleagues and friends, namaskar and good morning. It's a privilege to be here at this conference. It's a privilege because I'm fairly new to the country, although I represent a company which is 22 years old, itself, as you might think, a Gen Z. I'm glad that we are allowed to be part of a constructive discussion on the future of the country. For me, it's only been about 9 months since I started my journey to Nepal, although I've had the opportunity to be here on a regular basis, having been a CEO in Pakistan, in India, and in Bangladesh in the past. I started visiting in the month of Asan and Bhadra to assess the business and the market before moving in the month of Kartik, slightly after the formative events that happened on my calendar in September 8th and 9th. I feel incredibly privileged, uniquely privileged to be here to witness what is happening and which is on the lips of young people all around the world. And I will give you some evidence for that. What is happening here, perhaps because we're in the middle of the forest, we can't distinguish the trees, but has not happened in Madagascar, has not happened in Kenya, did not happen in Sri Lanka, may have happened in Hungary, certainly might have happened in New York City. We'll see what happens. But what has happened here is a very clear change, provoked by a set of events, both incredible and tragic, that have led a mere 6 months later to the creation of a firm, established, strong majority government reflecting the interests of those who stood on the barricades in September. That is unique. That is remarkable. I talk about it on a regular basis, and I'll come back to that in a second. I also tell my team that change has reminded us that markets do not operate in isolation, and businesses are connected intimately to the social, economic, and generational shifts that are part of our world. We are not spectators. We are active actors, or we are in the way. Last week, I had another privilege, and that is to speak at Harvard and MIT at a conference given on the future of Nepal. The event was organized by MIT and Harvard University students and a number of volunteers here, and was attended by 250 curated guests, mostly young people from universities around Boston. There are only 81 different universities around Boston. You know that well, sir. But including guests from all over the United States and indeed from around the world, all fascinated by what is happening here. The energy in the room and the engagement, the love and the commitment and the passion of the participants, who were almost all Nepali or of Nepali origin, was palpable. In fact, over the last few months, I've been actively talking to young people, high school, college, and university, because they are my clients. Yes, there are a lot of other people, but they are my clients, and they're what we build for. I can sense, it doesn't require a lot of perception, that this generation has very high expectations. They demand accountability, purpose, digital excellence, authentic engagement. And for us, people of the business community, this signals not an opportunity, but a profound responsibility. And history shows that resilient business are those who interpret disruption not as a threat, but as a signal to evolve. And we need to take the big picture in view. We have to evolve in what we offer, how we offer, and how businesses present themselves to civil society, the community, and young people in particular. You know this better than I do, and I live it with my own company. Our reputation could use some improving. There is hope and excitement about the opportunities created by the events in the last 9 months. This unique Nepali experience is at the center of social and political discourse, not only here, not only in Boston, but around the world. On a personal note, I have 3 children, 2 Gen X, 1 Gen Z, 1 Gen Alpha. I have 9 nieces and nephews to whom I am the father. 3 girls who are my own, 7 of 9 are girls. Pray for me. But what they want to talk about is this. In my social groups online, in the industry that cover Asia, this part of the world, a lot of people, in Northern Europe and in Africa, a lot of people, what I'm being asked is, what is happening in Nepal? Do not underestimate the impact you're going to have on young people all around the world. So let me leave with 4 key items. Delivering on the promise made to those who were martyred in September. Delivering on the manifesto and the portfolio of initiatives publicly committed by this new government is not only their business. They can't do it by themselves. It's beyond a single undertaking by a minister, a government. It is for all of us, and it is not an undertaking. It is, in fact, a sacred trust to transform a country with a long and rich history. 2, time is not our friend. We must move quickly. But let me also add, patience is a virtue. Not everything is going to happen at the same time. There will be a sequence. There will be time required for results to be shown. And while we are impatient, young people are impatient, they understand that things have to happen at a rapid pace, but at a pace. 3, tolerance for risk is a necessity. There will be risks taken from a policy point of view, from a governance point of view, hopefully less in that area, but certainly we will do things that we have not done before. And remember also, forgiveness is a must. There will be mistakes. And before we jump all over people for every little mistake, let's make sure that we think about the bigger picture. All these must be held in balance as we commit ourselves to profound change in our society and our economy. Thirdly, many of the changes promoted by the new government are based on the need for a profound technological revolution in the country. A simple review of the 100-point plan or any one of the lists that have been created in terms of activities that need to be done in the short term makes it clear that we need to address the deep technology debt that exists in Nepal today. Fundamentally today, telecommunications globally is a key underpinning of society. It is one of those few technologies that have fundamentally changed the quality of life over the last 30 or 40 years. Medical, electrification, telecommunications, perhaps a few more. It is the very fabric upon which culture, community, and industry is built. My industry is a weaver. We weave the fabric upon which society builds itself in a modern world today. And we take that not only as a business, but as a vocation. We are deeply, and I mean deeply, underinvested in telecommunications, networks, data centers, let alone those data centers that might do compute, that might do advanced crypto or central bank digital currencies. This, we're well behind. We're behind investments in AI and in other areas. We are behind the curve and falling behind further. Digital connectivity is no longer optional. It is foundational. I say this without any pride. In fact, I say this with humility. Nepal operates a relatively poor 4G network, with millions of customers still on 2G devices, while the rest of the world, including your country, sir, is now thinking about 6G. The vendors who are pushing us in this direction Nokia, Ericsson, and the friends in the room here, Huawei and ZTE, are all pushing us to think towards that future. And we have not even at the starting line. For a country like Nepal, with its unique gift of geography, both in topology and in location, and its population, the digital economy represents the historic opportunity to leapfrog traditional barriers and to move quickly into the next phase of its existence. A level of speed and change that perhaps this millennia-old society has not seen. Our own agenda and our ability to attract FDI to this country is significantly contingent upon building out the digital infrastructure needed to make a competitive offer to foreign investors. I've done this in Pakistan, in Bangladesh, across French West Africa, and Kenya. There is no more Darwinistic economic activity by companies and countries than in deciding where they're going to put their money. And we need to have a strong offer. And while we might pat ourselves on the back for the things we do well, we're not quite there yet. Fourth and finally, my own company, Ncell, benefits from a very healthy balance sheet. Our debt to EBITDA ratio is 0.7. Very healthy cash flows. We are prepared and we are ready to raise very significant amounts of capital to address a significant part of the technology debt in our networks and to build new capabilities. You may have noticed, some of you, that we've already published open calls for data centers up to 250 megawatts, gigabit fiber to the home services, and we'll follow shortly with a standalone 5G network. Don't settle for second best. Not a non-standalone, but a standalone 5G network to deliver the true promise of 5G to our customers. We're in active discussion with partners who have now approached us since the election from Asia, Europe, and America, who are now prepared to consider entry as suppliers or partners with us in Nepal. These are long-term investments that do require a nod from our regulator and our government before we proceed fully. But we are ready to commit. We're structured to do so. At Ncell, we will nevertheless continue to invest in expanding our networks. And in order to fulfill our needs, without thinking about the very large scale data centers, we will likely have to invest $200 to $250 million once we receive the necessary approvals. We've already applied 3 times for a 5G trial spectrum. We see ourselves for a long-term partner in Nepal's digital transformation. As one of the largest, if not the largest, I'm not going to argue that one, FDI company in Nepal, we've consistently believed in the country's long-term promise. Over the last 2 decades, we've made significant investments in infrastructure, establishing connectivity, but there is so much more to do. We have tens of thousands of educational institutions that don't have data connectivity. We need to fix these kind of problems. Small businesses and foreign direct investment will play an immense, if not determining role in delivering the 7% year-over-year growth planned by the government. Our role as a technology leader is twofold, and this is important. Build the rails for economic growth and champion foreign direct investment here and abroad in cooperation with our embassies and our trade officials. Foreign investors already in the country are the best and most credible ambassadors for attracting other businesses into the country. Back to the young people I met in Boston. Honorable Minister, I know your responsibilities precluded your presence in person, but you did make a presence. And as you said, you could only see the back of our heads because the camera was behind us. But the smiles on the faces of young people as you were speaking was heartwarming. We've already started planning next year's event, and we hope by hook or by crook to find a way to get your presence there. I know that you're a distinguished alumni of Harvard. I know you wanted to be there. but I got to tell you, you energized the room like few others can. I challenged the young people in the room to come back to Nepal and to imagine what would happen. Just imagine, close your eyes and imagine if 1,000 of these young graduates, the best from the Ivy Leagues, Nepalis who love and are passionate for their country, came back and each of them created a business with 100 employees each. The 7% goal becomes a low bar. It becomes a low bar. So this depends on us. It doesn't depend on the minister. He's going to help. He's going to do the things he needs to do, but it depends on us in business to let these young people come back and to give them something to do. Economic transformation is not the result of a single policy or a single investment. It's a result of sustained collaboration. And I call on the industry groups to think about it that way, the bigger picture. Yes, we talk about this problem and this regulation, but the bigger picture is to bring Nepalis back here with their skills and their money. We are proud to support platforms like this, and I got to thank you for this wonderful possibility. I want to thank you for giving me a little bit of your time today. Mother Nature was really messing with us today because we could be golfing. But this room is full, the next room is full, and there's people outside. I think that speaks to the commitment, the love, the engagement, the passion you all have for the country and its future. Thank you. Dhanyabad.